Good evening, everyone, and welcome back and welcome along as well to the fourth round of the WCSLeague GP3 Championship. Coming to you here live day from what turns out to be quite a sunny Silverstone, as it turns out, for the British round of the GP3 Championship. And we are just in warm-up at the moment. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed too much, none of the racing yet, of course. We're in the warm-up session now after just completing qualifying. So about another 3 minutes left to go before we go racing. But certainly we have had a good and competitive qualifying session to start off the day. And it was pretty close because the top 8 drivers were separated by only 0.6 of a second. So looking like we're going to be set up for a good evening's worth of action tonight. Of course, 2 races coming your way from Silverstone, and Wupke Hoekstra will be the man on pole this time around. He took the pole position with a 1:43.5, a fantastic lap by Wupke there, and he just managed to get that one and nip it from the drivers behind by about 1/10 of a second or so. So as I was saying, very close indeed. And of course, Wupke having a good start to the season so far. He's picked up quite a few podiums and even a win as well. The Red Bull Ring so far in the second round. It is his one win of the season so far. And of course, that is because we've only had one win from each of our winning drivers so far. From the 6 races we've had 6 different winners, and that is quite an achievement indeed, and just showing how competitive this league is at the moment. But tonight I just have a feeling that might be all about to change, because many of the guys that we got up there this evening have already got win of their belt, so don't be surprised to see someone pick up their second win of the season so far, and that really will be critical as well. It'll be, just a bit of a message to the other drivers, just to let them know that they are meaning serious business, and they're going to take it to the rest of the league by picking up as many wins as they can. That's the critical thing, really, is how many wins can drivers pick up, but also how consistent they can be as well. We've certainly seen that consistency is really paying off this season. That's why your championship leader Tobias Olsen has been doing so well. He's been on the podium for 5 out of the 6 races that he's competed in so far this season. And his only race without the podium, of course, was the first race at Spa last time out in Belgium, where he picked up a 5th place finish. But then, of course, took the win in the second race to pick up his first win of the season there. So very, very good, very competitive championship so far. And it's going to be one to follow all the way through the season. We've got a very long season this year. Lots of races. I think a couple of rounds more than we had last time out for the Formula 3s in Season 1 of WCS. And of course, Silverstone here today is where WCS all came back together about 6 months or so ago now, probably even a little bit more, probably about 7 or 8 months. It's been so long, but that's of course where we had our first round of the Formula 3 Championship here in Silverstone. So it's actually a really good thing to be back here once again to see these cars, these GP3 cars now racing away, and I think we'll be in for quite a treat tonight. So just looking, and we should be going racing pretty soon. Or of course it's going to be getting underway. So the grid is all being set up, and of course when they go to the formation lap, I'll take you through the grid so you know where everyone is going to be. There's 19 drivers here today, slightly lower than what we had in the last couple of races, but still very healthy field of drivers here tonight. We've had 39 different drivers so far this season, and I can't see, unless I'm wrong, I can't see anyone new. I think it's all returning drivers from the last couple of rounds, and well, this is really going to be an interesting one because, of course, a lot of these guys have got good experience in these cars now. We've had 3 rounds already with these GP3 cars, so everyone's kind of up to speed now. They've also got up to speed with the tyre rule as well. There are 2 compounds of tyre that will be run tonight, and both must be run in the first race. Each driver will have to make a mandatory pit stop to change their compound of tyre, and so we're going to see some drivers on the softer tyres, which are marked by yellow sidewalls, and some on the harder tyres, which are marked by white sidewalls. So look out for them, and it'll give you a good indication of how everything is proceeding with all the drivers. Expect the drivers on the softer tyres to be quicker, but of course the ones on the harder compound, their tyres will last longer, so the race will start to come back to them when it gets towards the end of their stint. So we've actually gone to the race now. We've got about 20 seconds to go before we will start the formation lap, and all the drivers are just jumping onto the grid. This is always the point in the evening where I just hope that no one has any kind of issues at all, and everyone manages to get on the grid. We don't like to see any drivers missing out, and the majority of them are there now. I was waiting for Stefan Roth. There he goes. He's popped onto the grid as well. So we're all good. All 19 drivers have made it on the way to the grid, and we'll head out now for a formation lap. And of course, Wookie Hoekstra here will take the drivers around here in Silverstone. Currently lying second in the championship, but starting first today, and he'll be wanting to pick up his second win of the season. Tobias Olsen just behind him, of course, your championship leader. He is locked in a very tight battle with Hoekstra, only 3 points separating the two at the moment, so it's really going to be important here to see who comes out at the top between the two of them. Of course, neither might win, but right now every point matters, and Wookie will be hoping he can beat Olsen to close that gap, and of course Olsen will be wanting to extend his lead in the championship. Stefan Roll is in third then for Holland Racing Team, with Jonathan Holmes with TG Racing again returning after an impressive display in race 2 in Spa, of course. Last time out he just missed out on a win there, so see if he can pick up his first win WCS today. Chris Shepherd is in 5th place with Johan Lindberg in 6th for Ice Cold Racing. Daniel Sharanku for Waters Automotive lines up in 7th with Wesley Stefano for MTR Motorsports in 8th. Bart DeVos is in 9th place with Joe Watts for JP Performance, rounding out the top 10. Now we've got Spender Vries and Positive Sim Racing quite far down for him today, only in 11th place with Rennick Hoekstra. A good qualifier for him actually, starting in 12th. Going to Vries, the second of the Holland Racing Team cars, is in 13th place with Ryan Nash for Satellite, lining up in 14th. Casper Unwind for Performance is in 15th place with Eric Stanford for Majoric in 16th. And Chris Kinsman is going to be taking the 17th spot for Intrepid, with Jeffrey Fournier for Stax Racing in 18th. Again, another driver that's quite far back, so I expect to see Fournier come through the field. And Richard Brooks, the second JP Performance entry for tonight, he will be rounding out your grid all on his lonesome, I'm afraid, in 90th place. So the drivers are making their way round now through the final couple of corners and approaching the grid. We have 23 laps. It's going to be about a 40-45 minute race here. Again, remember, expect pit stops around the halfway distance. Of course, some drivers will be doing a bit earlier, some a bit later. But of course, each of the drivers have got to make that to really spice things up as well. Hoekstra there, just stopping on the grid, I noticed, to do a burnout, and then gets back going again and lines up in his slot. So not really a clever idea there, but nonetheless, he's taken to his spot now. I've seen another driver just moving through. I guess someone was out of position there on the formation lap, but he's got back into his spot now. And there we go, Richard Brooks lines up on the final row of the grid. The lights are coming on, the engines are rising, And race one here in Silverstone is underway. Not a great start by Hoekstra at all. And here comes Stefan Rotz through the middle of him and Olsen. And Jonathan Holmes trying to follow through as well. Oh, there's contact between Holmes and Olsen. And Olsen goes round, spins in front of the pack through turn one. Oh, there's a huge crash. There goes Sven de Vries spearing off. Coming out turn two. Massive crash there. Joe Watson, Wesley Stefano have it coming together as well into turn three. At Village there. They've both gone around. That's a terrible start in the midfield. Lots of chaos all over the track, but Stefan Rualt though, he leads coming down the Wellington straight here. He's got Wupke Hoekstra right behind him. Jonathan Holmes there into third place after his clash with Tobias Olsen. Chris Shepherd in fourth, and Johan Lindberg up to fifth place with Daniel Sharanku in sixth. So a good start for Sharanku and Voss there, the two teammates of course. For Walters, they're doing a very good job indeed. But right now, the top three have really broken away just a little bit here. Right behind Rualt is Hoekstra, and he's really giving chase right now. But Holmes is coming along with them nicely as well. And we'll have to see down the hanger straight if we're going to get any movement for position, or can Rualt hold on to first place through lap one, I should say. Here we go then, coming into the hanger straight, and Rualt's considering his options here. He's pro a defensive approach. He's already feeling the pressure from Hoekstra. Hoekstra to the outside. Here we go, round the outside into Severi. Oh, there's contact between the two. They've both gone wide. And they've both spun it as well. Hoekstra tried to catch it, but he's gone round. And both of these drivers off. Oh, there's someone else up in the background as well. I think that's Brian Nash. It's hard into the inside wall. Let's hope he can get back going. But all of a sudden, Jonathan Holmes then leading the British Grand Prix, his home race here at Silverstone in WCS from Chris Shepherd. A great start by Holmes then. He's just somehow kept out of trouble, while the three guys who started ahead of him have all fallen into some kind of trouble of their own. And he leads it then. Chris Shepherd in second. Johan Lindberg looking pretty strong in third as well. Although, just saying that at the loop there, he just lit up the tyres a bit too much and spun the car around. And there's more contact between. Oh, look at that. Stefano and Hoekstra again involved here. And who's that? Tobias Olsen as well. It's all happening for Hoekstra and Olsen here. They've both had it coming together in the top 10 there. Both got off coming out onto the Wellington straight. Oh, there's more contact as well. Who was that? Someone's lost their front wing there. I can't quite make out. Oh, it's Chris Kinsman off. He speared into the wall with another driver. And it's looking a bit messy out there at the moment. Disaster then for Kinsman to lose his front wing. He's got half a lap to go to get back to the front, get back to the pit lane and get out unreplaced. And that's effectively his race over for today in terms of a good finish. But I'm sure he'll keep on going. He won't give up just yet. So Holmes then leading down the hanger straight, 1.2 second lead from Chris Shepherd. Just extending that out just a little bit, but Shepherd is keeping him honest. Both of them have dropped Lindberg a little bit, because I think Lindberg had a very scruffy first sector, and Rualt is recovering well, recovering quite nicely here, already up into fourth place after going off track with Hoekstra at the end of the first lap. So not a disaster for him. He's still got a chance to get on the podium and even get a win if he's got the pace to do so. Looking further back, and Geoffrey Fournier, whoa, I did not notice this. Geoffrey Fournier already up to 7th place. A fantastic start for him from 18th on the grid. That is really quite the performance, and he's challenging Sharanku all over the track right now as they go through the loop and onto the hanger straight, looking very competitive. I should say the Wellington straight, get my straights mixed up here. But it's such the excitement of Fournier's fantastic start, and Sven de Vries as well, already up to 8th for Positive Sim Racing. Of course, we saw him through the first couple of turns upside down at one point, so quite a miraculous recovery to be going so well in 8th place after getting it all wrong at the farm curve. Looking at the gap again up front, about 1.4 seconds now, so again Holmes pulling out a couple tenths on Shepherd here. Looking consistent and strong so far, hasn't really done anything too wrong at the moment. Further back, Hoekstra has just managed to make up another place. He's into 11th now, getting around to Eric Stanford at I think Cops. I saw him go past there. So good place for Hoekstra, and he's onto the back of Olsen as well. So these two have already had a coming together, or at least once today. Let's hope they can keep it clean, because it looks like they're going to be racing each other once again. Oh, and someone else got off rare. Fournier, after such a good start, he's gone off down at Vale, I think that was. So he's made a bit of a mistake, and he's now side by side with Hoekstra for 10th place. Just about holding on to it, but look at him, he's getting the car all kinds of twitchy all over the place there. But keeps it going. Hoekstra actually falling back a bit, and that means that Eric Stanford as well has got caught up behind him, and Wesley Stefano goes up the inside at Abbey. Good move by Stefano there into 12th place, and he's now looking at the back of Hoekstra, but runs a bit deep in Village. That's going to compromise his line down the Wellington Straight, but about shuts the door on Stanford there and holds onto the position. Looking further up the field now, I think it won't be too long before Stefan Ruot's onto the back of Limburg. He's got the gap down between the two of them to 1.2 seconds right now. He's really pushing on well, is Ruot. He's done 44.8 for his previous lap. Compare that to a 44.4 for Holmes. Shows that Holmes has just a bit more speed in the car right now. Then those around him, Khrushchev struggling for a bit of pace. He had a scruffy lap last time around and dropped back a bit further. He's down to about 1.8 seconds. I saw it up to 2 at one point, but recovered a little bit on this lap. But certainly just trying to hold on to Holmes at the moment to keep this race for him alive. Sven de Vries, though, however, in 7th place, looking now to the inside of Daniel Schranku. At the end of the hangar straight, he's the inside line. Schranku just runs a bit too wide there, off track at Stowe. Manages to cover it. Oh, and look at that. Who was that behind? That's Gerrit de Vries doing so well in 8th place, and he's had a spin. He's had a spin indeed at Vale. Got the car back going, but he's all the way down in 12th place right now. That's helped Olsen, Fournier and Hoekstra all pick up positions. They're all back into the top 10, the 3 of them now. So watch out for them, they're going to be charging through. Certainly Hoekstra is charging quite a bit right now. He's having a look at Fournier into Village. Oh, just both of them braking late there. Fournier's going to take a tight line into the loop. Hoekstra's going to hope to try and get the switch over on him. He certainly does. He's got up inside of Fournier now and down the Wellington Straight. It's looking promising here for Hoekstra. He's on the inside of Fournier and just about ahead of him already into the braking zone. Gets the job done. Keeps the car tight. Oh, he's nearly lost it. The back end stuck out on him and he's dropped a position there to Fournier. Wesley Stefano as well trying to come through. Oh, and look at Hoekstra's really struggling with the car out the corners at the moment. Maybe just overheated the tyres a little bit to lighten the tyres up. Just about manages to keep Stefano behind him. And hasn't lost too much ground to Fournier either. Onto the back of Fournier once again. It's a good freeway tussle right here for 9th place, I should say. So through Maggots and Beckett. Now down the hangar straight once again. Stefano's right behind Hoekstra, but I think Hoekstra's probably going to have a go at Fournier. Is he? No, he's not. Meanwhile, further up, Schranku's really having to depend quite heavily here. De Vries looking all over Schranku right now, and Bart de Vos has caught up with these two as well. So De Vries is finding himself between the two Walters cars at the moment. It's a De Vries sandwich. Oh, and look at that into Abbey. De Vries had a think about it. He had a think about going up the inside, and Schranku just closed him off there. High speed corner, very, very brave to make a move into turn 1, and he had a think, but in the end didn't go for it. Well, I think Stefano as well, I see he's had an issue. He's down in 14th place now. I think he's had a bit of an excursion at farm and just gone off track a little bit. Meanwhile, there's still battles raging on all over the place. Johan Limburg now has Stefan Rowe all over the back of him and into Kops. Rowe goes up the inside and gets the move done there. Rowe passes Limburg for 3rd place now, and He's going to have to keep an eye out though, because Limburg is right behind him, going through Maggots and Beckett's. But look at that through the corner. Rod just manages to gap him, really. Got good cornering speed then for Stefan Roth, and Limburg's well off the back of him by the time they get onto the hanger straight, and that just allows Roth now to look further ahead down the field and concentrate on Chris Shepherd ahead. About 3.6 seconds between the two of them. There's now 3.3 behind Holmes, so again dropping off the pace more and more. Shepherd's lap times are getting worse and worse as the laps tick by at the moment. All the front runners are all on soft tyres, so can't be the tyres because everyone else is looking okay. Shepherd just struggling for consistency right now, but still doing an excellent job in second place. So here comes De Vries then, all over the back of Schranku. They've dropped the boss a bit. I think he had a mistake somewhere because he's got Olsen all over the back of him now. But again, Sven De Vries just can't find a way past Daniel Schranku. Down went into the straight. Doesn't seem quite long enough to stay the well into the straight. Overtaking opportunities, and Schranku's able to hold on to the position in 5th place right now. They come out of the field onto Woodcut along the old National Straight down towards Ops. Just seen it, Geoffrey Fournier. Geoffrey Fournier has retired from the race. He was named 15th. That's really fallen off after his start, but it's all gone wrong, and he's actually retired from the race now. So that is Fournier out for race 1. Hopefully we'll have him back for race 2, because he looked like he had a decent amount of pace there in the early stages of the race, just maybe struggling for consistency in the car a little bit. So look at this, right, go defensive down the hanger straight. De Vries going to the outside, and De Vries round the outside really late on the brakes. It almost looked like he didn't brake for the corner there, such was his speed. Great job by De Vries into Stowe, getting the position done round the outside of Schranku. De Vries up into 5th place now. We should see De Vries start to pull away, because he was certainly harassing Schranku for much of the last couple of laps, and that's usually the sign of a driver who is quicker and wants to get past. Also, Tobias Olsen has got past Bart de Vos for 7th place as well, so he's continuing his recovery after a couple of early race crashes, which has taken him out of winning contention at the moment. He's 18.7 seconds behind Jonathan Holmes, who's still going along nicely in first, keeping the car pointing in the right direction. I'd say we haven't seen a mistake from him, but we haven't really seen him because he's been all out on his own after the end of lap 1. After, of course, Hoekstra and Olsen had a coming together. Hoekstra and Roth had a coming together. Chris Shepherd, though, a bit better on previous lap, just able to maintain the gap a little bit more, but again, does seem to still be getting bigger and bigger. Got out to about 4 seconds now, so certainly sitting out at front. Stefan Roth is not making too much inroads on Shepherd at the moment, but perhaps he just needs to have a lap or two of clear air to really start setting some competitive lap times right now to try and close the gap. Interesting to see that last lap, Holmes was down to 46.3. So Tobias Olsen pits here at the end of lap 8. He's pitting in, and he switched to the harder of the 2 tyres here. He's gone onto the hard compound tyre, the white sidewalls on his car, so he's pitting early. So is Gerrit De Vries here, also switching onto the harder compound tyres. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out for Olsen then. He comes back out in 11th place. Got a decent gap between himself and Casper Unwin. ahead of him in 10th, so he should be able to get some clean laps in here. And we'll have to see whether this is going to be up for him, this early pit stop. It will probably mean that he's just got to have to look after the tyres a little bit more come the end of the race, because this is going to be a very long stint for him. It's going to be about 14 laps. 15 laps, so it's 15 laps that he'll have to do on these tyres to get to the end of the race. So it's going to be a difficult one, but we saw in Spa and a few races earlier on in the season that you can pit early and get to the end of the race. Tyres do seem to hold on fairly well, but again, he can't be scrubbing too much time off of them. So it's all looking fairly spread out right now. I guess the best battle here is 9th and 10th with Eric Stanford, with having a good battle with Casper Unwin, who's right behind him. So look at this, Johan Lindberg pits then from 4th place, and Wupke Hoekstra is also in from 6th here. So both of them pitting, following on from Olsen's pit stop last time around. Still not quite halfway in the race, but of course these harder tyres should last longer than the softer tyres, so perhaps that's why they're pitting. Lindberg then comes back out in 7th place, just ahead of the battle between Stanford and Owen, so that's a good call by him. He got out perfectly there. Hoekstra pops back out in 11th, and he's all in clear completely. Quite a few seconds though behind by Olsen in 10th place, and definitely I do wonder if Hoekstra's got a bit of damage here, because his lap times haven't been that competitive and he hasn't looked that consistent either. Certainly wouldn't be expecting to see both him and Olsen struggling just on the cusp of the top 10 after qualifying on the front row of the grid for both drivers. So looking at it, I think the best to go back for a battle then has to be 8th and 9th now between Stanford and Unwin. Owen, of course, in the little pink car, that's very nice. And oh, look, there goes Stanford. He's made a mistake coming through Chapel, and he's going to be behind. Oh, there's a bit of contact there behind Owen. Stanford just cutting behind him a bit too soon, and there was slight contact between the two drivers. Stanford trying to get a tow and trying to keep on to the back of Owen in front. Will he ever go around the outside? No, not quite. Going to try the switch back. Can't quite make it happen. And it looks like Stanford's going to have to settle behind Owen here and try and line him up at another point in the track. Meanwhile, Stefan Ruart's just pitted for harder tyres, as has Sven de Vries, and Ruart pops back out on the track just behind Lindberg then. So close between the two. So I'd expected to have seen Lindberg behind Ruart, so I wonder if I had a bit of damage or something in the pits that he had to sort out, because he certainly lost quite a bit of time there and dropped back down, and it will be effectively 4th place once all the pit stops shake out. Meanwhile, we've got a freeway battle here for 8th place. Tobias Olsen has just gone up the side of Stanford and Owen into it was down the Wellington Straight, wasn't it, into Brooklands, and a good move by Olsen there to get past both drivers. That's critical for his race, really, because he didn't want to be held up there. He's got Ruart ahead of him, only 4 seconds down the field, so he wants to be getting on with it right now. Here comes de Vries going up the inside of Stanford into Cops, and he gets the move done as well there. So de Vries up into 8th, and he's of course chasing after Olsen as our two leaders pit then. Jonathan Holmes with a 4.8 second lead takes to the pits, as Chris Shepherd, he's switching over to the medium tyres. Yes, there we go, he switched. Holmes as well, switching to mediums. Both holding in pits. There goes Shepherd, he's off and away. It's a long stop for Holmes here. A long stop for Holmes. And he's only just going to get out ahead of Shepherd here. So disaster for Holmes. What's happening? His pit stop. But maybe again some damage for him. But all that lead that he had, that nearly 5-second lead, has completely gone. And Chris Kinsman there just about getting out of the way. Of course, a lap down. He doesn't want to be affecting this race because now we have a race for the lead. Shepherd right behind Jonathan Holmes, and he'll feel he can at least have a go here. Holmes feeling that he needs to go right down to the left side of the track, down the Wellington straight, moves back to the right, just trying to break the toe there. Pops back onto the racing line and in through Brooklands and Nuffield and onto the National Straight. He's just got to keep his head down now, focus, forget about that long pit stop, and just try and pull away from Shepherd. He's continuing to move around the straights, trying to get rid of the toe from behind, trying to just break the gap between himself and Shepherd. It's only half a second in it between the two of the drivers. Very close indeed. Meanwhile, further back, Sven de Vries and Tobias also go side by side here. And de Vries is trying to hold off Alston through Maggots and Beckett's. And also just taking a tighter line there through the mid set of those corners, and falls back quite a bit, loses momentum. That's good for de Vries, bad for Olsen. It's broken the gap between the two of them a little bit, giving de Vries some breathing room down the straight. We'll have to watch out for Limburg and Ruart as well. They're getting close together after Ruart had a longer pit stop. See if he can get back past Limburg next few laps. Eric Stanford then into the pits from 7th place. He's of course started the race on the medium tyres, so he'll be switching over to the softs. So that's going to be a long stint for him. Yeah, we just completed lap 12, so he's going to have 11 laps to do on the softs. But of course some of the other front runners managed to do that, or just about. So we'll see how Stanford gets on in the second part of this race. But that's exciting for him. He's going to be on the quicker compound tyre now, so we'll see what he can do when everyone else ahead of him are on the harder set of tyres. As a matter of fact, the whole field are on the harder set of tyres. So Eric Stanford doesn't like to follow the trend. He likes to do his own thing, and he's decided that he's going to do it the reverse to everyone else. And he's now on the soft tyre, so we'll keep a close eye on him. He's currently in 12th place right now, behind Wesley Stefano, a couple of seconds behind, and we'll see how he gets on in the second half of this race. That's right, we've only got about half of the race left to go here at Silverstone, and Jonathan Holmes then is still leading this one, but only just about. After that long pit stop, he's got a 1.2 second lead over Chris Shepherd. Certainly the two of them are quite close together right now, so Holmes will be wanting to just gap Shepherd a little bit more, try and revert that advantage he had at the end of the first stint, because that was very healthy at the time, and the gap's actually come down a little bit. It's down to a second now, and oh, look at this, Stefan Ruart's back into the pits here. So has he had a penalty? We'll have to wait and see. He's up on the jacks, hasn't changed tyres, I don't believe, or anything like that. Shranku's in as well. Had Shranku pitted? Yes, he had pitted also. So this is an incredibly long stop for both drivers. They're both sat here for what must be an age. It's been a good 15-20 seconds they were stationary in a pit box, but they're both back out again now. But absolute disaster for Ruart. He's back down in 11th now, just behind Eric Stanford, a couple of seconds behind. And considering he was behind Limburg, who was about 40 seconds up the road, that is a massive amount of times that has been lost by Ruart and Schranker as well. A disaster for both drivers. They're both outside the top 10, outside any chance of a reverse grid for race 2 at the moment. Of course, need to be in the top 10 for reverse grid in race 2. So Ruot could get in there if he can get past Eric Sanford, but of course Sanford is on softer tyres right now, so we'll have to see how that one goes on. But certainly it'll be interesting to see what was the issue there, because that is a disaster for both drivers, and both doing a good job. Of course, Ruot was recovering after clashing with Woutke Hoekstra at the start of the race. So Jonathan Holmes leads, lap 14 out of 23 completed so far, and the gap has just risen a little bit to about 1.5 seconds. But Chris Shepherd is looking better in this run in the early stages, at least so far. He's actually put in some good lap times and quite comparable to his times when he was on the soft tyres. And Holmes as well, looking strong on these harder tyres. Doesn't seem to be too much of a difference then in pace between the two tyres. And I'm sure Holmes here will just be wanted to try and get away, try to put in the laps. Of course, he must be feeling a bit nervous right now. He hasn't won here in WCS yet. Of course, he came so close last time out in race 2 at Spa. It was a last lap pass for Tobias Olsen that gave him his first win of the season, and Holmes tried to get back right at the final corner of the stop chicane, but just wasn't quite able to. Didn't have the right line, and so I'm sure he'll be thinking about that as well. But he needs to just try and focus on the race right now. And so far, he's done an excellent job. Looks very calm at the wheel, hasn't really put a foot wrong, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to get this win, because it'll be a big one for him. It'll be a confidence booster. He certainly hasn't had too many wins in sim racing. He has had wins elsewhere, picked up a few. Always a very competitive driver, but perhaps sometimes doesn't quite manage to execute, whether it's down to luck or just mistakes or lack of practice. But either way, at the moment, he's done an excellent job so far. Both himself and Chris Shepherd, and either driver would be fully deserving of a win today, and either driver would be deserving of their first win today, of course, because Shepherd has not won a race so far this season. In fact, Shepherd hasn't been on the podium. His best result has been a 6th place, and that was the first round, the very first round of the season in Australia. So this is a very good performance here by the Multiforce driver. Really good drive at the moment for Shepherd. Easily his best performance of the season so far, and I just hope he can continue it. He's looking a bit ragged there as I say that. Hope I don't curse him as he came through Beckett's. I was getting my Beckett's and Beckett's all into one. He came through Beckett's and just dropped off the track a little bit. Didn't look like it lasted too much time, but certainly dropped a bit to Holmes. Between himself, though, between Shepherd and Lindbergh in 3rd place, it's about 10 seconds at the moment. So good gap between the two, and Lindbergh right now coming under increasing pressure as well. De Vries has managed to catch up with Lindbergh and is now aiming for the podium. So De Vries, who started in 11th place and was, like we said, upside down on the first lap after getting caught up in Olsen's spin coming out of Abbey right here. He's certainly done well to recover, and now he's onto the back of Lindbergh, having a look at Village. Not quite close enough, takes a tight line though. Lindbergh a bit wide through Village, that's really going to affect him through the loop and onto Wellington Straight. That gives De Vries a good exit, but just lights up the tyres a little bit. Has to correct the car, catch it, and will now head down the Wellington Straight, go into the inside of Lindbergh. Then can he take this 3rd place? It's looking good. Oh, look at that though. He's spun. He's going to spud it. He just tries to take too much speed through Brooklands, spins the car around, recovers it in time to get the car pointing in the right direction through Nuffields before Tobias Olsen can pass him. But certainly That's time lost for De Vries. He would have damaged the tyres as well. And Olsen is all on his tail now, so he was battling away with one of the ice cold drivers, and now he's having to battle with the other ice cold driver. But it's not over for De Vries. He's only about 3 to 4 seconds behind Limburg, so he can still hold this one back with about 6.5 laps to go. But he's certainly not making it easy himself if he wants to get on the podium. I think realistically, third place is the best these drivers can hope for now because of the pace and the quality at the front between Shepherd and Holmes. It looks as though Dwight Olsen just doesn't quite have the pace here for De Vries. Hasn't been able to keep up with him after De Vries made that mistake on the previous lap, and that just means that De Vries has pulled away, gapped him by about a second or so already, and already De Vries has got his sights set on Limburg. The gap down to 2.3 seconds between the two of them right now. So very much looks like we're probably going to have a resumption of that battle in a couple of laps time, and Limburg will do well if he can hold on to third place by the end of the race, but he'll definitely give it his all, and he won't quit without a fight against De Vries, because I'm sure Limburg very much want to pick up a podium here today. Limburg, another driver who's having a good performance. His best result so far of the season was 8th place at the second race of the season in Australia. In the short of the two races, he managed to pick up an 8th there, but nothing much better than that. And Limburg's a good driver as well, so look out for him. And if he can get on the podium here today, that'll be a great result for him. Looking further back, Casper Unwin made a pit stop about a lap ago. He's actually switched onto the soft pod tyres. He went very long in that first stint on the harder tyres, and he now finds himself behind Ryan Nash, who did well to recover after crashing down the Wellington Straight. I think it was earlier on in the race. He's still going strong in 13th place, but he's certainly got Unwin right behind him at the moment. Probably the best battle out on track there at the moment then, so probably stick with this one. Ryan Nash down the hanger straight. Hasn't got defensive here. Casper Unwin taking a nice wide entry there. Right behind Nash now as he go into Vale before they head to Club Corner. And really, oh, look at that! There was cut up between the two. Nash has gone round, and Unwin gets the position then. Be interested to see what either driver has to say about that after the race. But well, position gained for Unwin, position lost for Nash, and quite a lot of time as well. And I think it's probably the end of the battle now, because I don't think Nash will be able to catch up, and there's already quite a gap between the two. So that looks like that's the end of that battle then. Unfortunately, it didn't quite end as we'd hoped. A good little fight, but nonetheless, Casper is on his way. We'll see if he can catch up with Gerrit De Vries next. He's the next guy up the road for him to catch. Even further up the order then, De Vries is still on the back of Limburg, fighting away, and Sharanku is all over the back of Stefan Ruart as well. It's a good performance here by Sharanku, because Ruart was looking much better. I actually think when Sharanku pitted, that was a legitimate pit stop actually. He switched to the soft tyres. Looking at that, I thought he had a penalty or something, but no, I was wrong. That was his one and only pit stop that he was going to make for the day. Or was it? Perhaps not. He made a couple of stops. He had a couple of long laps. I think he did pit twice in a row. So I wonder if he didn't refuel then. Something certainly went wrong there, but nonetheless, nonetheless. I'm sure someone will tell me different, someone who knows better than me, but he's doing alright, but falling off the back of rails a little bit there, so that's a shame. I thought we could have a good battle, but De Vries has got past Limburg then. Something's happened. I didn't notice it. I believe it was down into Brooklands. I think off the Wellington Straight, De Vries has managed to make the position, and he moves up into third place. So sorry for not covering that, but there has been a change of position there. So De Vries now into podium positions, but Limburg isn't giving up just yet. He's following De Vries through Maggots and Beckett. Again, just trying to follow recovery there, really difficult. De Vries immediately switching to the other side of the track, trying to break the toe, and he has gapped Limburg by a fair amount, about 7/10 of a second here. So De Vries doing what he needs to do to try and get away from Limburg. Limburg is running a bit wide, coming through Stowe. Just about keeping De Vries honest, keeping it within a second, but we'll have to see how much longer he can do that. We have completed 20 laps out of the 23 now, so only about 3 laps to go. Less than that if you're Jonathan Holmes right now leading this race. But it's going to feel much longer than 3 laps, I feel, for Holmes. He's going to be thinking about everything that's going on. He'll just be wanting to get to the end of this race. He's managed to pull out a gap of 3 seconds now between himself and Shepherd. But any mistake by Holmes, and that would allow Shepherd back in. Just got to keep it calm. Doesn't need to put in fastest laps of the race anymore. Just got to drive the car home for these final laps, but you can't go too slow. Can't lose concentration either. Shepherd, meanwhile, just making a mistake once again. Coming onto the hanging straight, just missing a corner there. That certainly won't be helping his lap times either. It looks like it's calmed down a bit now. Casper Owen has managed to get past Gerrit de Vries, so he's moved up into 12th place. And his next target will be Eric Stanford. That looks reasonable. That looks like he could do it in the final couple of laps, because he's managed to close the gap down to about 1.7 seconds between the two of them. And that gap's actually closed a bit quickly as well. So battle for 11th still be on. Got 17 runners still in the race. Jeffrey Fournier and Rennick Hoekstra were only 2 retirements of the race so far, both out on lap 7 of 23. So fairly clean race after some of the troubles at the start. It was a bit messy at the start, but after that it's all calmed down. It's some good battles, but now just calming down a little bit. Back then, Stanford definitely coming under pressure now. He's got Casper all over the back of him. Into Abbey they go to start their penultimate lap of the race. And already it looks like Owen might be thinking about lining up a move to get past here. Stanford just holding in the middle of the track there, through Village and into well, he went a bit wide, it went a bit deep. So did Owen. It both looked a bit scruffy from the two of them. And onto the Wellington Straight. Owen actually stepping out of the slipstream there of Stanford. Interesting to see. Through Luffield. Stanford just about holding on to the car, but he has had a good exit here. Casper Owen, though, he's going to look to the outside of Stanford as they head towards Cops. It's not the best place to overtake here, but Owen's going to give it a go anyway. No, he just thinks better of it right at the end there, pulls the car back in, and doesn't think of completing the pass. But Jonathan Holmes then has started his final lap of the race. Yeah, he's just got one lap of the circuit left to do. And 4 seconds between himself and Chris Shepherd now. So he just extend the gap a bit more. And that's a nice little cushion, but it's not completely comfy. He's still got to really be careful here. He can't make any major mistake at all. And he'll just want to bring the home to pick up his first win in WCS. And the first time I've seen him win for quite a while as well. So sure this is going to be a huge relief for him if it does happen, which is looking more and more likely like it will now. He, of course, led the race since the first lap after getting past Olsen, Rualt and Hoekstra after they all had issues coming together in the first lap. So that gave Holmes the lead. And ever since then, he hasn't really looked back. Had a bit of a hairy moment when he had a long pit stop, but still managed to just about keep the lead from Shepherd and was able to gap him once again. And that means that he comes round Club Corner now onto the pit straight. Jonathan Holmes then wins here in race 1 in WCS. He takes his first victory in the GP3 League and in WCS as well, and he looks absolutely over the moon with it. What a fantastic and mature drive there by Holmes. One of the cleanest drives I've seen all season. Excellent job. Chris Shepherd, he cannot be disappointed with that. An excellent second position for him. Really put in a fantastic job as well. Again, another driver that I didn't see him make any mistakes, nothing major, and he should be pleased with that. A good haul of points, a fantastic finish, and all done on merit as well. He had great pace, so congrats to both of them. Spencer Priest from 11th place on the grid then manages to pick up a podium, and a great podium as well for Positive Sim Racing. That'll be good for his championship also, because of course the guys ahead of him in the championship haven't finished too well either. Johan Lindberg then, another driver who's put in a great performance today, on par with Holmes to Shepherd as well. Really impressive stuff by him. 3 seconds off the Vries in the end for the podium, but beat his teammate Tobias Olsen just about by 0.8 of a second. Olsen will be sorely disappointed with how that race went. It all went wrong in the first corner for him, but it could have been a whole lot worse. So the 5th place for him is not too bad. Woutke Hoekstra then finishing in 6th place. Again, another driver be disappointed with that result. It was all looking so good until we got to the end of lap 1, and he had a coming together with Rualt battling for the lead, and they both went around, and that's disappointing for both drivers really. But that just means that Olsen will be able to gap Hoekstra a little bit more in the champ as well. It's good for him. DeVos then in 7th place. A quiet race, but a solid drive by DeVos. Again, good effort and a good performance. He'll be pleased with that one. Stefano, driver, had a couple of good battles in the race and picked up 8th place. A fine result for him. Rualt will be disappointed with 9th. He could have been a race winner today, but he's going to have to set up a 9th. Whatever happened in the pits, I'm not too sure, because that cost him the podium as well. With Daniel Sharagu coming home in 10th place. Again, a driver who was looking pretty good earlier on, but for whatever reason just fell back a little bit. But of course he'll be on reverse grid pole, so not a disastrous race for him whatsoever. Casper Owen just missed out on that pole position in 11th, with Eric Stamford in 12th. Garrett De Vries in 13th, was strong earlier on, fell back a little bit. Ryan Nash had a huge crash in the first couple of laps, but he managed to still finish race on the lead lap in 14th place, with Joe Watts, Chris Kinsman and Richard Brooks all being lapped at least once in 15th, 16th and 17th. And Jeffrey Fournier and Rennick Hoekstra, your 2 retirees of the race. Oh, it looks like it's pretty good between the drivers there. just congratulating each other after the race. Holmes and Shepherd both being very sportsmanlike, giving each other praise, and those two were just in a separate league from the rest of the drivers today. They didn't put foot wrong. They drove well, both with good pace, and both the drivers should be very pleased with their results in the end, picking up first and second. And Holmes, he's so pleased that he's picked up his win. He's got the win he's been looking for. And again, that's a 7th different driver in 7 races in WCS in this GP3 league that we've had so far. So surely in the second race at Silverstone, I'm sure of it, we've got to see a driver here, pick up his second race win of the season. The only other driver that I can see that hasn't picked up a win so far that could get the win here today is Stefan Brought. But if he does, I'll eat my hat. I don't have a hat, but I'll eat it anyway if I did have one, because not saying that Rots can't win a race, but surely the streak has to come to an end at some point, because it certainly has been a crazy one, but one that just demonstrates how good the league is at the moment as well. It really is very competitive, and that's what you want, really, a league where everyone has a chance of winning. I think they put the effort in, they have a chance, and I think it's exactly what we've seen so far this season. A bunch of drivers who are all going for wins, and they are getting it as well. So really, for the championship, not too much has happened in that race. Of course, Olsen beat Hoekstra by a position on the track. So I believe that Olsen will have gained 1 point over Hoekstra this race, which will mean that the gap between the two of them in the championship will be 4 points. De Vries will certainly be reducing the gap between himself and the top two, but not by much, it has to be said. And considering he's already 32 points behind Olsen before that race there today, it won't be too much of a difference for him either. But again, it's still in no, and at least he is trying to close the gap down. That would have also pole vaulted this into third place in the championship as well, of course, because Lars Brugman hasn't taken part here today. He's missed out on today's round for whatever reason, which means that less points for him, less points for Positive Sim Racing as well. So that'll have a knock-on effect in the team standing, of course, which Positive are leading at the moment. That means that Iceland Racing will be able to close the gap on them a bit, because both Olsen and Lindbergh have had decent results here today, picking up a 4th and 5th place. Is more points than what De Vries managed to pick up by himself in 3rd, of course. So we've just moved into warm-up now, and it will be a quick 5-minute session. You call it a warm-up, you can cool down. It depends how your race went, really, in that first race. But either way, we're going to have a few minutes break here, where the drivers can just recover, or maybe try something different with their setup, try a different line. And I think for some of them who didn't get too many laps in, like Fournier in the first race, and Brennan Coaster as well, they'll both be maybe ones to get a little bit more practice in, just to warm themselves back up again before we go into the second race. But meanwhile, while that's going on, you need to go to the toilet if you need a drink, if you need anything, it's best time to go for it, really, because we're going to have a thoroughly exciting race 2 coming up here. It was great in Spa. I think race 2 has been excellent so far this season. It will be quite a short one, only 11 laps of this Silverstone track this time around. So considering that last race was about 40 minutes long, you're probably looking at about a 18 to 20-minute race for the second race of the day. So not much time to really do anything, and that means that drivers have got to get on with it. And that means, of course, that those that are further back after the reverse grid as well are going to have a bit more work to do and a bit more pressure on themselves. The reverse grid, of course, for any of you that don't know, the top 10 finishing positions from race 1 are switched around for race 2. That means that today Daniel Sharanku will be starting on pole position for race 2 here, and Stefan Ruot will once again have a good starting spot on the grid. He'll be in second place, so there's every opportunity for Ruot to win this race here. Absolutely, I was saying I don't think he's going to win, but that's basically based on my opinion that someone's going to take their second race win here of the season. But Ruot's certainly starting in the best position of any of the front runners in the championship at the moment. So definitely watch out for him. He'll be hoping to get another good start like he did last time around. But this time he just needs to make sure he doesn't lose it all on the first lap. Just to quickly go through the rest of the grid then, that means that Wesley Stefano will be in third, Bart DeVos will be in fourth, Wupke Hoekstra will be in fifth with Tobias Otters in sixth. So that's going to be good for all, well, good third row with the two main championship contenders lined up together. Johan Lundberg being seventh with De Vries in eighth. And then Chris Shepherd and Jonathan Holmes, 2 stars of race 1 there, will be starting on row 5, of course, in 9th and 10th place. That'll be interesting now because Holmes is going to have to do a bit of passing this time around. He didn't have to really pass anyone in race 1. He kind of inherited the lead in a way. He just kept out of trouble in that first lap and got the lead because of it. And after that, he was ahead for the rest of the race. Never really had to step out of line to try and get past anyone. So he's going to have to just be careful. He's going to be maybe a bit race rusty in terms of doing the overtakes. Hasn't had the time to find out where best to place the car for an overtake in race 1. So we'll see how he gets on. He might struggle a little bit starting from where he is. The same for Chris Shepherd as well. It's going to be interesting to see how Shepherd gets on. That's what I'm really fascinated, those two guys, how they will do in this race. Of course, Fournier as well. He's back in session, which is great to see, really, because Fournier had a fantastic start in race 1. He'll be starting from 18th place this time around. Pretty much where he was starting from in race 1, I think, actually. Yeah, indeed it was, 18th place. So no change there for Fournier. Let's see if he can get a good start again, and hopefully this time around it doesn't all end in the gravel trap either. So I think we're up to go to the race in a second. I've had a bit of a technical difficulty, so I can't tell you if we are or not. So bear with me if you're seeing something on the screens that I can't see, and not because I'm not looking, I just can't see it. That's my excuse anyway. Gonna be an interesting one though. Certainly, just over 40 miles worth of racing coming up. Doesn't sound much, and it certainly is going to flash by pretty quickly. And I think we should be going to race, but I think someone is missing here. Suddenly dropped down to 18 cars, so definitely someone's disappeared whilst I disappeared as well. Well, whoever it is. Oh no, wait, they're back. Sorry, they are back. We're back to 19 drivers, so that's good. That's all good and fine. I was getting a bit worried there. I thought we were going to be down to 18, but no, we've got all 19 of these lovely WCS drivers back onto the grid now, and that's fantastic to see. We will be going to the race anytime soon. I'm just waiting for it now. Menno Klont popping back out on track just to get in that little bit of extra practice. Of course, one of the drivers who retired in the first race. Just drivers just being given a very brief briefing, you could say, mainly just about being careful. I think that's only fair after everything that happened in race 1. And of course, the reverse grid as well. That's only going to make it even more crazy going down into turn 1 and turn 2, and for the rest of the lap, for that matter, because it certainly has been a crazy one so far. It all seemed to calm down a little bit once the race got underway, but whilst the pack was close, I think I was a little bit desperate today to pick up some positions, and perhaps did it a bit recklessly. It's interesting to see here, we're having a bit of splits. This is what I've just been focusing on. We're having a bit of split on the tyres. Just looking at the drivers then, so as I go through the field once we'll get going, I'll give you what compound tyre they're starting on as well, because it's interesting. I'm hearing that the soft tyres go off after about 5 laps, so that means that perhaps it's better to use the harder compound tyre. So Sharanku then leads them away for race 2 here, and he's starting on the soft tyres with Stefan Raut doing the same in second place. Wesley Stefano is in third, also on the softs, as is Bart de Vos. Then we've got our first harder compound tyre runner, and that is Woutke Hoekstra in 5th, with Tobias Olsen back in the softs in 6th. Johan Lindberg is in 7th, with De Vries in 8th. Lindberg is on the softs, and De Vries is on the hards. Chris Shepherd in 9th is also on the soft tyres, whereas Jonathan Holmes is on the hard tyres, so he thinks that going for hards is good. Then we've got Casper Unwin in 11th, also on the hard tyres, with Eric Stanford on the soft tyres. Garrett De Vries also on the softs, as is Ryan Nash in 14th place. Joe Watts, again a soft tyre runner, 15th, with Chris Kinsman going for the hards in 16th. Richard Brooks is 17th on the softs, with Jeffrey Fournier on the hards in 18th. And Menno Klont in 19th place, also on the hard compound tyre then. So that's quite a split there. I'd say it's probably close to 50-50. I think there's a few more soft tyre runners than there are hard compound tyre runners, but that is interesting indeed. That's the first time this season really we've seen this kind of split in race 2. It's typically been a case of just go for the soft compound tyres for race 2, because the race has been short enough that you only really maybe have to just be careful a couple of laps at the end. But if what I'm being told is correct, the soft compound tyres go up quite a bit earlier than this, so that's very interesting. Also just seen as well, Jonathan Holmes fallen to the back of the pack, so he's had an issue somewhere along the way on this lap. But he's got back going again, and he's making his way back through the field as well. He'll just have to take his grid spot once everything kind of gets sorted out when he gets to the grid. It's not really the best idea to go charging through a bunch of drivers trying to warm up their tyres, as many of these drivers are doing right now. Shranku, though, he's entering his grid spot right now. He's just about got there, lining up on the grid. Let's see, does he park it? Wow, he goes really deep in his spot. He's practically over the start line. He's that deep into his spot there. So just slowed the car back a bit. I think he went a bit too deep, and now he's rolled forward again. So he hasn't decided how far deep he wants to be in his spot. Everyone else is about lined up here. You can see Jonathan Holmes just taking his spot on the grid. I think Joe Watts was also out of position in the field as well. And Holmes has really lined the car up quite badly there. He's all over the place, and he's holding up the field right now. Has he got in position? He has. Oh, sorry, we're lights out. Well, where we go? I didn't even hear the lights that time around, but we're away. And Ruart gets a great start there, jumping out into first place into turn one. This time around, it looks like we're going to get through it all of just about cleanly. Shranker, though, fighting back, looking to the outside of Ruart. Ruart locks up into Village there as it looks like Stefano just got pushed out a little bit wide by Hoekstra, who's looking around the outside for third place right now. Can't quite make it. Ruart back into second, though. Shranku's retaken the lead, taking it quite well as well. So great effort by Shranku. Looked like he lost it, but he's gained it back once again as they head down now into the second sector. And oh, they're just hitting the bollards, getting them knocked out of the way. I thought there was a bit of drama going on there. Hoekstra, though, coming under pressure here from Tobias Olsen. Olsen up the inside, coming out of Luffield. Hoekstra loses the position. He might lose another one here because here comes Bart de Vos through on the inside as well. Just a lack of traction there by Hoekstra. I don't know if that's because he's on the harder tyre and maybe just taking a bit of extra time to warm up and get into its working range here. But the guys, all the drivers fielding, flying through now. Maggots and Beckett's after coming out of Cup's corner. Great sight to see here. Shranku then leads, but only just here because Stefan Ruart has caught him. Caught too quick. This is like a repeat of lap one. Ruart goes to the outside of the driver. He's tried to pass the lead. This time around, can he make moves stick without them being coming together? He's on the outside. Shranku's holding it on the inside. They've given each other plenty of space. Oh, Ruart's just about held it on the curb as well. They're going to be side by side going into the chicane here for the final couple of corners on lap one. Can Ruart get this position? He's back on the outside now. Got to drive all the way around the outside of Shranku. And yes, he does. Look at that. What a great move. What a great battle between both drivers. Kept it clean. And Ruart takes the lead of the race there. But Shranku's not giving up into Abbey. Has a look at the inside, but that's compromised him. That's allowed Olsen up the inside into Village. They're side by side through Village. They're going to be side by side through the loop as well, and Olsen just has to pick off there. Shranku takes the corner, nearly lost the position himself. It's that tight at the moment. So Ruart leads, Shranku in second, Olsen third, Stefano fourth. Wupke Hoekstra back down to fifth after picking up a couple of positions, and he's coming under threat a little bit by De Vos, so he has got back around De Vos. Again, Chris Shepherd up to seventh from ninth. De Vries down, actually remaining in eighth place, hasn't really moved. Johan Lindberg in ninth place, Eric Stanford in 10th, and Jonathan Holmes has a disaster here. I've missed this. Something big has happened to him. He's all the way down in 17th place and quite a ways back from the rest of the field as well. So real disaster, and that's what happens starting in the midfield. He won't be picking up his second of the season this time around, unfortunately for him, being that far back now, but he's still got a chance of points. He just needs to go the kind of pace that he had in race one. Meanwhile, further back at the front, Olsen having a look at Shranku. Stefano having to go defensive from Hoekstra as they come down the hanger straight. Stefano taking a defensive line. Hoekstra just looking each and every way. Now he's got the inside coming through club and onto the pit straight. Can he get this move done? Yes, he can. He gets the move. Having to go defensive though, because of course on the approach to Abbey, Stefano can have a run back even as well. Excuse me. Not quite close enough there. So Hoekstra holds on to fourth. Stefano back to fifth. Vries up to sixth. Now picking up good positions there. He's got past De Vos, who's dropped back to eighth here, and Shepherd's got past him as well. And Shepherd looking very racy here. He's now onto the back of De Vries. I'm nearly pushing him down the Wellington straight. He's going to go to the outside. Around Brooklands. And into Luffield. He's going to have the side for Luffield. But De Vries just manages to gap him just enough there. And holds on to the place. Oh no, he doesn't. Stefano, Shepherd takes it. Stefano ahead of them, of course. De Vos goes through as well. He's past De Vries also. So De Vries back to 8th there. That was all because he just didn't get a good exit coming out of Luffield. Great scrap here. Scraps all over the track. Shranku holding off Olsen. Hoekstra trying to catch up with them as well. Boss coming under increasing pressure of De Vries from De Vries now, who's trying to get this position back into 7th place. That's what he's looking for. And also dives up the inside of Shranku then into Stowe, gets the move done. Past to Shranku, takes 2nd place. Hoekstra back in 4th on tail of these guys as well now. So Shranku's really going to have to fight if he wants to stay on the podium this time around. Meanwhile, further back, it looks like it's all happening here. Holmes is up into 14th place past De Vries, Nash and Brooks as well. But still a lot of work to be done, and he's only losing time. I think he had a coming together there as well. So he's probably not going to be happy about that one either. Oh, and someone's gone off on the back there. Oh, that's Lindbergh. Lindbergh's gone off coming out of the loop onto the Wellington straight. And after such a good run in race 1, he's all the way down in 14th now. He actually slots in behind Holmes. So disaster for Berg, a lot of time lost, and he's well out the top 10 now. Meanwhile, the battle for 2nd rages on, because Shranku's got it back. Hoekstra's fallen back. Olsen's gone back to 3rd place. He's again having a look at Shranku every which way I could possibly think of. Gonna have a good toe down the straight off Shranku. Shranku's looking defensive, and look at that. Olsen's trying to sneak it on the inside. He goes onto the grass to try and get up the inside here. So Hoekstra goes to the outside. There's contact between the two, and Hoekstra just about gets past Olsen. Whoa, that was that looked like it could have been another crash at the end of the lap there. That's Stowe. I thought we're going to have a bit of a repeat of race 1 between Hoekstra and Ruwald, but didn't quite happen that time around, and both the drivers managed to survive. Luckily, Hoekstra then up into 3rd place. Olsen back to 4th now, and he's actually got Wesley Stefano, who's doing well here, right on his tail as well. Oh, looking further back, who was that? Just straight on. I just seen someone go straight on. That's Tobias Olsen at the same point on the track, coming out of the loop, exactly where his teammate Lindbergh went up a lap ago. Tobias Olsen has lost position. He's all the way back to 6th now, and yeah, gonna have to make the time up. And oh, look at that, Jonathan Holmes then, our race winner from race 1. He's out. He's out of the race. He's whatever reason, I think he had another crash, a bit of damage to the car, bottled it or whatever. Just didn't have the same composure that he did in race 1, and well, that's what happens sometimes. Getting stuck in midfield, it can be a bit of a battle, but well, that's major points lost really for him, and not good for his championship. But hopefully we'll see him back out next time around in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll get him in for an interview, but I doubt that'll happen either. No real chance of that happening, I feel. But Shranku on his way, looking very good at the moment. 3.5 seconds behind Stefan Roll. Just holding off the field behind him as well. Hoekstra hasn't really been able to close it down too much yet, but give him time, that could still certainly happen, as we are about halfway through this race right now. Completed 5 laps onto the 6th lap out of 11. So half the race done, half the race left to go. And the drivers will be set aware of that as well. Any of these drivers that want to have a good result here today really need to get moving on now, because the time is ticking against them. There are many battles still on the track then. Hoekstra and Stefano chasing down Sharanku. Shepard and Olsen aren't too far away from each other either. And De Vos has De Vries all over the back of him. De Vries seems to constantly be stuck in 8th place here. He looks around the outside of Olsen, gets the move done into Maggots. Great move there by De Vries. Gets done nice and early, but it just gets a bit loose coming through Beckett's. But I manages to hold on to the car there. Further up, Sharanku now having to play defensive here down the hanger straight, because Hoek's just trying to go around the outside of him. They're side by side still, coming down towards Vale then. Who's going to have the position? Can Sharanku get it? It's looking good, isn't it, for Hoekstra? Yes, he's got it. Got the move. Sharanku really poor in acceleration there onto the pit straight as well, so just losing more time, and that's giving Stefano a chance now. Wesley Stefano having a great race here so far, having a chance of a podium right now. He's looking at it, he just needs to find a way past. Village not quite brave enough on the brakes there, but would have been quite the dive bomb if he'd gone for it. Chris Shepard in 5th, also on the back of this, and it's really impressive by Shepard here today. He had a good race one, but certainly benefited from a few other drivers losing positions. But here in race 2, he's calmly carved his way through from 9th to 5th place, and he's looking at a potential podium here. Can even see 2nd place on the track as well. A really nice drive. Unlike Holmes, his composure here, and wow, who knows what he can do. It's certainly
connected.
So they're side by side, and can he get decision done here?
User in your channel timed out.
Yes, he can. Great move by Shepard then. Fantastic stuff. Up into 4th place, past Barlow around the outside. Fantastic move, and well, just continuing this great run of form here. Next on his hit list is going to be Daniel Sharanku, and he could be on for a double podium today. What an achievement that would be! But first, he just needs to make sure Stefano doesn't get back past him. He's right on his tail. But Stefano also has the ring Olsen behind him as well, as there's De Vries behind him, so they're all starting to stack up a little bit, all the way from 2nd place back. It's a great little battle. Shepard right now not quite clear, of Stefano. Stefano's really onto the back of Shepard now, and Shepard's actually fallen away from Sharanku a little bit. Gap's about a second, so definitely quite a big drop off there. And that's good for Sharanku if he wants to keep on to his podium position right now. But not good for any of these guys behind. Look at this then, De Vries got to get past Olsen. There we go. Again, into Maggots. De Vries gets the position. And he moves up into 6th. And a mistake by Wesley Stefano through the chicane means that De Vries is probably going to get 5th here as well. He's having to go defensive though, because here comes Olsen. He can also go onto the grass, trying to sneak his way up the inside. Even if he sees half a gap up the inside, he goes through it. Oh, there's contact. De Vries has got around again. Oh, disaster for De Vries. Forever in 8th place this race, it looks like. That means that Olsen now battling away with Stefano. Who's going to get this 5th place here? Stefano's just about going to hold on to it. But DeVos is there as well. They're all scrapping for positions. And DeVos looks to the outside of Olsen, who's looking to the outside Stefano into Village through the loop then. Again, all 3 drivers taking different lines. But they all seem to come out quite equally out of the loop and onto the Wellington straight. Olsen then, is he going to have a look at the inside? Stefano's gone to the inside. Oh, look at that, Olsen again, just sneaking his nose up the inside right in the last second. And Stefano got a bit spun that one, I think. He's gone so wide. So wide there into Brooklyn that he's completely lost the position. And lost position to DeVos as well. So 2 positions down for Stefano. DeVos into 6th place, Olsen into 5th, and now DeVos is attacking Olsen. DeVos, of course, on the harder tire, and I think that's really taking effect right now. He seems to be benefiting from it. Can DeVos get this 5th place? Olsen a bit loose, coming through Beckett's. But just enough ahead of DeVos. DeVos isn't quite going to have toe down, hanger straight to be able to make a move. Close the gap under braking. Not close enough. Meanwhile, ahead, Taranku and Shepherd. It looks like the battle is back on between the 2. The gap has come down quite a bit now. It's down to 4/10 of a second. You can visibly see how close Shepherd has got, and he's going to have a look potentially into Village. Thinks better of it. Taking a nice wide line through the loop. Gets on the power, just lights up the rear end a little bit there. And will follow Sharanku down, tows him down all the way along the Wellington straight. But straight's just not quite long enough really to get alongside on the car, I've noticed here today. But certainly Sharanku coming under a lot of pressure right now. He's had a lot of pressure so far this race, and on this penultimate lap, he'll just be thinking about keeping it all nice and clean and tidy. Behind as well, Olsen and Voss are extremely close together for 5th place. Stefano and Vries also close together, but Shepherd is looking at Sharanku now for this final podium position. Just jinx out, looks a little bit keeping behind Sharanku quite well through this set of corners onto the hanging straight, and look at that run coming out of Beckett. It's a great run and fantastic stuff by Shepherd. He's got past Sharanku nearly just about, but they're wheel to wheel, side by side, slight bit of contact into this right hand. They go, oh look at that, it's so close through Stoke and up into Bale. Now they're still side by side. If someone's in the background, I think that was De Vries. Oh, it's De Vries and Stefano actually going up in the background. Sharanku though just holds on to this place from Chris Shepherd. A great battle for the podium position here, and this was going to go all the way down to the final corner on this final lap of the race. And Wesley Stefano then has retired after that collision with De Vries, I believe. They made contact and he retires here for 8. Disaster to him. But Stefan Ruot then just got about half a lap to go. 2 more sectors left in this race, and he will actually, I'm going to eat my hat here, aren't I? He will actually be our 8th different winner of the season so far. I can't believe this is happening. Quite incredible indeed. He's got 4 seconds between himself and Hoax behind him. Sharanku's actually tapped Shepherd a little bit here, so perhaps it's all over for Shepherd's fallen back to about 7/10 of a second, and he's going to have to really do something spectacular through the next sector and a half to try and close the gap back down. And really, with his only potential place that could overtake being into Stowe realistically on this final lap, I don't think it's quite going to happen. But speak Stowe, that's where Stefan Riot is right now. He goes around Stowe looking very calm, cool, and collected as well. He could have potentially won in race 1 had he not had that collision at the start of the race. But here in race 2, he's made up for it anyway. He comes across the line. Stefan Riot wins here, the first win of the season for Riot in WCS in the GP3 League here. And what a great result for Riot. Fantastic performance. Couldn't really fault it. Again, just got into the lead. Bit of an issue at the start getting the lead, but once he got there, he was imperious and he was away. Wupke Hoekstra comes home in second place with Daniel Schranku then holding out for third, 3/10 of a second ahead of Chris Shepherd, who again had a fantastic result here today. Tobias Olsen came home in fifth. Another adventurous race for him with Bart de Vos doing well to pick up sixth there. Sven de Vries looked like he was on for a guaranteed 8th place, but got 7th in the end. Eric Stanford in 8th place. Actually, a really good result for Stanford. He should be pleased with that one. That's fantastic 8 for him. In race 2 where not many people retired either. Chris Kinsman had a much better race 2 after hitting trouble in race 1, picked up 9th. With Johan Lindberg in 10th place. Casper Owen was in 11th, with Gerrit de Vries in 12th place. Joe Watts came home in 13th, with Ryan Nash in 14th place. Rennick Hoekstra was 15th, with Richard Brooks in 16th place. And your three retirees of the race were Wesley Stefano, who of course retired with about a lap and a bit to go. Jonathan Holmes, who just didn't seem to be able to get things going in the right direction in race 2. I don't know what quite happened with him there, but disaster for him. And I'm sure he's going to get ribbed for it. I'm sure Mitch will be making fun of him as well if Mitch is still watching, so you won't be pleased with that. And of course, then Jeffrey Fournier, another bad race for him, retiring on the first lap, and double DNF for him today. He got a lot of pace, has Fournier, and that's disappointing to see that he wasn't able to do anything with it today. But hopefully next time out will be a different story. But the story for Stefan Riot, though, is one of victory and a great result, a fantastic result. He should be really pleased that he is, of course, then the 8th different winner from the 8 races that we've had so far this season. I can't believe it's happened, but it has. Lars Brugman, Roy Schroten, Wupke Hoekstra, Ben de Vries, Daniel Brewer, Tobias Olsen, Jonathan Holmes, and now Stefan Riot have all managed to pick up a win so far this year, and they should definitely be pleased with that one. And I think we'll have a couple of interviews at least, maybe a few more once the guys finally make it their way over here. We'll see what we can get in terms of a word
User
out of a
joined
few
your
of the
channel.
guys. I
User
have a
was
feeling
moved to your channel.
we're not going to get one of the race winners today. It'd be a miracle if we managed to get Jonathan
User was
Holmes
moved to your channel.
in for a chat. But we do have another race winner in here instead. We can speak to at least. We'll get to one of them. He is a better race winner because he's actually come to chat with us. So, Stefan Riot, it's great to have you here, and it's great to finally say that you've managed to win here this season. A fantastic performance in race 2. I'm sure much more pleasing for you compared to race 1. And well, you must be feeling ecstatic. I can't even say it. I'm not happy for you. You must be feeling so pleased to finally pick up a win this season. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I can't hear you, Stefan. So, can you hear me now?
Nice try, Sven.
It's gone unprofessional already. I really did want to hear from one of the race winners here today. It doesn't look like we actually are go to be able to hear from Stefan. If you can, though, Stefan, if you can fix your mic, just
Hi.
Oh, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you're here. Great. Oh, fantastic stuff. Okay, well, it was a long-winded question, but I'm sure you got the gist of it. Tell us how you feel after getting that win.
Yeah, feeling extremely happy. Good race together with Wopko, who had very good pace today, and finally my first win of the season. Very happy about it. A little less happy about race one, where I had like zero grip on lap one, and was feeling the pressure by Wopka. I wasn't trying to defend that hard, but he tried to go around Stowe around the outside, and I was just understeering right into him, zero grip, and really sorry for Wopka. I think it kind of destroyed both our races, but glad that we both ended up on the podium on race two, and glad that I can take the win finally.
Yeah, you've finally done it, and well, for your championship, that's going to do a world of good as well. Were you starting to think that maybe you wouldn't get a win? You've come close on a few occasions so far this season, and well, you finally got there.
Yeah, just trying to stay out of trouble, which is quite hard, harder than you might think. And I knew that if the pace was right, then it someday it should come my way, and today was that day. So very happy.
Excellent stuff. Have you taken a different approach or anything like that, or is it just maybe a bit of luck came your way today?
Yeah, I think a bit of luck, but also I got some new pedals for this race, and feeling really good with those pedals. And yeah, I think just by feeling better, maybe I just was a bit more relaxed, and that helped as well.
That's it then. It must be the lucky set of pedals. I'll go with that one.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Well, Stefan, thank you. I'm glad we finally managed to hear from you. And again, congratulations on your win today. I'm sure it's going to be the first of many this season. All the best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Sam.
Excellent. Right. Let's jump in with another interview. Who shall we go for now? Let's go for the guy who started out today in second place in the championship, but I think he might be in the lead of the championship now, if I've done my maths correctly. I've probably done it wrong, but we'll say he is anyway. So Wopke Hoekstra, not quite a win today, but you got the next best position in race two, managed to pick up a second place. So all in all, not a bad day's work.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I can be really pleased, especially after grabbing pole. And yeah, race one, I don't know, everyone seemed to hit me out of everyone on track. So that was really unlucky. At least some people like Stefan apologized, which I appreciate. So that's no problem. And well, it happened. So it's just unlucky. But others, they didn't even apologize, and I don't know what was wrong with them, but it was just ridiculous, to be honest. And yeah, I'm happy to grab P6 after all the struggles, so that's pretty good. And race 2, yeah, happy to grab P2 and get some points back over Tobias, so that's good. And I think I might have passed him in the standings, but maybe it's due to the fastest lap and the pole position that I got.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I'm going to go with you as championship leader. We'll say that for now. I can always correct myself in a couple of weeks' time. But nonetheless, it's looking like a tight championship, isn't it? And certainly one where really any mistakes could be costly right now. So are you feeling the pressure a little bit?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really doing much before the races. So it's just I'm driving and I'm trying to have fun. I think the pressure is more on the other guys because they seem to be the ones that make mistakes. And well, yeah, today I got a bit unlucky with that, so it's their fault. And I don't think I made any mistakes. If I made any mistakes, then well, sorry to the guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel any pressure. I'm just driving for fun. So.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. That's what WCS is all about at the end of the day, driving fun. That's a great advertisement of that then. So just looking at it then, what have we got coming up next round? Let you get your thoughts on the next round. We've got Monza, though. That's gonna be interesting. How do you feel about Monza then? A bit of a difficult track, considering it's gonna be a lot of drafting, a lot of straights.
Ooh, it's definitely going to be tight. It's really going to be interesting to see how everyone gets along there, because if you saw today, it was already really close on this circuit, even with a lot of corners where you could lose time due to the dirty air. And I believe Monza is really going to be a battle of the slipstreams, and if you can manage to get away from the others, I think you can grab the win. So I think someone on reverse pole might grab the win there, even though his pace isn't really the best.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be definitely an interesting one. But well, Keith, thank you for your time today. That was really good stuff. Yeah, you had some good battles out there. Kept us entertained through both the races as well. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you. Hope to see you in 2 weeks.
I'm sure you will. Right then, let's go on. And well, I'm going to speak to another guy who managed to pick up second place today. And it wasn't just a good performance in race 1, it was a good performance in race 2 as well. And I think saying good is probably not the best word to use, because there were 2 fantastic races. Chris Shepherd, a great round today, all round by you, really. Fantastic couple of results. You must be very pleased with yourself. Oh no, we've got another driver that we can't hear. It's all going wrong on the broadcast. Chris, unfortunately, we can't hear you right now, but...
Hello?
Yes!
Sorry.
That's all right. Please go on ahead.
My mic was on mute. Yeah, it's nice to get a decent round in. Been a bit unlucky or a bit silly the last few races, to be honest, with the rain. It's just caused a nightmare for me. I'm always on the wrong tyres, and just while I'm on that point and all, I just want to apologise to the guys, because I probably said something in the chat that I shouldn't have, not this race, previous rounds, just with regards to tyres. It was just frustrating. It was just getting to me, and so I've done that. I'm happy. But yeah, this round was a lot better. Obviously dry. I'm surprised as well, because yesterday I started practicing. I did a nice stint. I did about 90 laps practice, and I just felt so slow. Come back today, I don't know if it was the track evolution, but I just found myself near enough on the pace, which was good, and yeah.
Yeah, well, fantastic stuff. I mean, easily your best performance of the season so far, and I was going to ask you if you could pinpoint it, but it sounds like even you don't know why you did that well.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I do believe that I should be fighting here every race, to be honest with you. But like I said, I've been caught out with tyre choice the last few races, and to be honest, the tyres as well in this car, I can't in the wet. The tyres are. Although being on the wrong tyre most of the time, one time I was on the right tyres and they just seem to disappear on me. I don't really have much trouble with tyres with wet tyres in every other car, so it's something I need to learn for this car, because I'm sure we'll have more wet races. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I was I just like Silverstone, I guess.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Are you kind of looking forward to other tracks in the season as well, because you did a stellar performance today? So any other similar tracks where you think you're going to do well?
To be honest, I just like any track. To be honest, I don't play any other games. I don't play any other sims. If ever I'm at my PC, I just do a few laps. So yeah, I look forward to every race, whatever car it is. I just like racing.
Nice. Well, I think that's probably why we're all here, because we like racing, and that's good to hear. And Chris, I just want to say congratulations once again. That performance in race 1 as well, especially, that was really good stuff, and I hope you have more results like that in the season, because that was a really good, mature drive. Yeah,
sure, thanks. Would have been a lot better if there wasn't the contact with the other guys, because we might have had a nice long battle all the way. But yeah, I mean, and it's nice to avoid a bit of carnage for once. Usually something happens in front of me, I turn the wrong way and I get collected, so it was nice to avoid it all for once, and that's what happens.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I guess more of the story is just get a good qualifying position.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, thank you, and hopefully we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I hope so. Cheers, Sam. Take care.
Is right. One final guy to interview then. He was the first one into the room, last one to get interviewed. Classic case, really. He's sat here patiently. Let's hope his mic is actually working now and not suddenly just died in the last 10 minutes. And that guy, of course, is Sven de Vries. And Sven, no win today, but you picked up a podium in race 1 and had some exciting battles in race 2 as well.
Hello. Yeah, it went it went pretty well. I think race 1 that was, yeah, third place. Had some good battles. Came in with no practice, so got in one qualifying lap, messed up the other ones. So starting from, I believe, 11th wasn't ideal, but quickly found some pace. Still struggled a little bit, but got lucky to pick up third. So yeah, it was good for me. Then race 2 was pretty awesome. Also had a shout out to Daniel Frank, who I had good battles with him in race 1, so that was fun. Then in race 2, I thought most of it seemed pretty clean. It's very close at I would say places 2 through 8. I mean, Stefan was gone very quickly. But yeah, behind that, it seemed really cool. I think one time I made a move around the outside of 2 cars.
Yeah, you did.
Whatever that corner was called. That was pretty awesome. But other than that, I was struggling a little bit more than I would like, and just got unlucky a couple times. Hit a bump going into that same corner after trying to overtake 1 or 2 people again, and lost the car. Then lost it again when Stefano, I think he went a little bit wide going into that corner, and we touched. No biggie. But yeah, that was the end of my my race there, finishing in 7th, I believe. But overall, yeah, fun to race again. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it was. Are you worried a little bit by your team standings at the moment? Of course, your teammate wasn't here today for whatever reason, and you had to do it all alone. So, feel like you did enough for the team?
Not sure. I think it may have been my last GP3 race anyway. I accepted a new job on Monday, so unless I can work something out, which I don't think I will be able to, so that may have been the end of that. But I've been saying that for the last 2 or 3 jobs that I've gotten, and seem to be able to work around it every time. So who knows?
Yeah, I do feel like we had this conversation about a year ago. Well, about 6
Several
months ago,
times.
didn't we? Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I got a real deja vu moment there.
Yeah, worked
Right.
out every time, but we'll see.
Okay, well, if this is your last race, Sven, then you will be sorely missed. But I expect to see you in
Better.
a couple of weeks' time.
I'll be there next race with the Meganes for sure.
All right, excellent stuff. Any final words on how everything's going in the league then, from a league perspective?
Yeah, I think Chris Kinsman has been working on some updates for the rain tires, I believe, in the GP3, to get those improved. And thankfully, it was dry today, but yeah, there should be some changes there. We had a bit smaller grid today. We've had a lot of people that had internet issues or on vacation or whatever, so it's just that time of year. I mean, the good thing is that everybody can script their worst race weekend, so you know, will still not matter too much if you miss a race due to unforeseen circumstances. But yeah, we look forward to the Meganes next week, and I believe you said Monza is going to be the next race with a GP3. I mean, I should know, but I really don't. But if it is Monza, then yeah, that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. So unless the calendar's wrong, that appears to be the case. Oh well, thanks, Sven. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for being patient, and thanks for making the broadcast nice and unprofessional at the end there as well. And, we'll see you in about a week's time then.
Thank you, and thanks for doing the broadcast, and thanks for allowing me to make it very childish the last 10 minutes after all your hard work.
No problem. Right then, so speaking of next week, as Sven just said, we have got the Meganes going on Monday, once again, same time as it has been today, but it is on Monday, the 7th of August, of course. And we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be camped out at Silverstone. So using the Silverstone track once again for the Meganes. And, well, they've been a blast so far this season. So definitely check that one out if you can. As I said, same time, but on the Monday instead. And then in 2 weeks' time, we return again for the GP3s at Monza. Also, same time. Hopefully, we'll have a good, strong field again, because I think it's going to be super close with all the long straights and a lot of overtaking going on probably a lot of action and carnage as well to go along with it. So that will be Wednesday, the 16th of August. So please, if you can, join us for that and come on board as well if you want to race or just watch if you want to. Either way, you're very much welcome. But for tonight, that's just about all we have time for. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the couple of races that we've had. I think they've been an excellent individuals in drag editions, which is something we haven't quite had that much of recently. And again, a couple new race winners as well. Who will be the first driver to pick up their second win of the season? Maybe we'll find out next time out. But for now, I'd just like to say thank you to Argo. Once again, Argo's there for doing a fantastic job on the cameras. Done a stellar performance. I know there was a couple of issues in race one, but not to worry about that. I'm sure you still brought across some fantastic pictures that we can all enjoy, and always making the broadcast that little bit better. Hopefully next time around I'll have my buddy Joshua Anson back with me as well. So apologies if you've had to put up with my boring waffling for the last couple of hours, but well, that's me. That's me, Sam Jones, and that's me calling it a night for tonight. But as I said, we'll see you next time out on Monday evening for the Meganes. But for now, goodbye.